Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please take your seats. The ceremony will commence in a few minutes. May I ask you at this point to ensure that you leave the indicated front rows open for faculty and other members of the academic procession. Also, please check that your cell phones are set to quiet mode to avoid distractions. You may take photographs from your seat at any time, and further opportunities will be available outside once the ceremony has concluded. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the graduation ceremony for all those students who've graduated in the previous academic year. We're joined today by 13 students who are actually able to join us in person, and we have several more who will be joining us online. They will be gracing the screen over in the far corner. It's very nice to have you all with us here today, despite the rain. So thank you for joining with us to celebrate their achievements. So please rise for the academic procession. You may take your seats. Well, thank you very much and welcome to the new student graduates. Today's new graduates were also tailed in by several previous graduates from the last year's ceremony who weren't able to make it, so it's good for them to get the opportunity to take part in the academic procession. Well, welcome to the new graduates. You've gathered here together in front of the assembled body of faculty and your peers to be awarded your diploma and the hood. The hood with its uniquely Okinawan red border signifying award of the OIST PhD degree. So OIST is located in Okinawa, a region with its own long history and unique culture. So let's begin the ceremony with a traditional Okinawan piece used to mark auspicious occasions, such as this event today. Kajadifu is a song and dance for celebrating the beginning of a new journey. So let me introduce the players and the Sanshin Orchestra. We will be joined by dancers Naoko Tokumoto and Takeshi Ige from Tamagusukuryu Gyoku Senkai. The Sanshin music is courtesy of the OIST Sanshin group Chindamise, who are a group of OIST students and staff. This is actually the first time that a pair of our graduating students are able to play Sanshin for their own graduation ceremony. Ivan Mbogo and Bob Chuang. So, I hope that, and in the centre, of course, we are joined, we're pleased to have Mrs. Satsuki Agena from Ryukyu Classical Music Preservation Nomura Style Association. She has been teaching OIST community Sanshin for several years now, and it's great to see OIST connecting with the community. So I hope that you could feel the joy expressed through the music and the dance. All right, thank you so much for that. Always good to hear great orchestra in unison. Now it gives me great pleasure to call to the stage, to open today's ceremony, the President of the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology Graduate University, Peter Gruss. Thank you.
To our distinguished guests and to the honorary degree recipient, to our Board of Governors and Board of Councillors, to the Vice Governor of Okinawa, Teruya, to our Mayor of Onason, Nagahama, to our President Emeritus, faculty and staff, to the parents, family members and friends, and especially to our graduating students. Welcome to the 4th graduation ceremony of the Okinawan Institute of Science and Technology. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all today in this auditorium and to all those joining us online from around the globe to celebrate the achievements of our graduate students. My heartfelt congratulations to all the graduates on your accomplishments. And you, dear graduates, you accomplished a lot. Let's start with the obvious, the result. You all successfully completed your PhD thesis, adding to the scientific progress. We all tend to look quickly at the results. Achieved, check, and on to new adventures, new challenges. There's nothing wrong with that. But if we want to learn from past achievements, we should take a moment to look at what led to our achievements. Observing you, dear graduates, many of your skills and qualities come to mind. First, you must have made good use of your talents and made many smart decisions for yourself over the course of your life. You succeeded among 500 or so candidates who applied to OIST from across the globe at the same time as you. You belong to those few that were offered a place. Second, you certainly showed courage. You applied to OIST at a time when only one class of graduates has ever finished a PhD at our young university. While it's a safe bet to start a career by applying to a university with a century-long track record of excellence, you showed pioneering spirit and took a risk to turn to OIST, a university where your graduation celebration is part of the 10th anniversary. You trusted in OIST's vision of an international, world-leading university in science, education, and innovation in Okinawa. Your trust in OIST early on was not done foolhardily. All of you came to us with your own track record of excellence. In your selection interviews at OIST a few years ago, you met outstanding scientists. You have taken advantage of what an international and well-equipped campus can offer. You understood what cross-disciplinary research can achieve when it comes to tackling the challenges of our time and the breakthroughs that occur at the frontiers of science that bring major innovations and can foster your career. Third, your resilience and personal strength have been tested even more than during normal PhD years. You were confronted with a combination of some of the most complex problems of our times: the COVID pandemic, the challenges of climate change, a global economy shaken by disrupted supply chains and geopolitical shockwaves from Russia's invasion of Ukraine, putting a strain on the world. In the last 2 years, you showed that you can deal with uncertainty, not only from the cause of the pandemic, but how it affected every aspect of your daily lives, from your carefully planned experiments to the well-being of your families and loved ones. But despite all this, and as hard as this time was, you did what you needed to do. You showed persistence and pressed ahead. Research during the peak of the COVID pandemic was also possible because of the OIST community's responsible behavior in mask wearing, social distancing, vaccinating, as well as regular testing. This allowed us to keep the campus open for most of this period and provide you with access to the labs and research facilities. And so you have reached that milestone here today because of your dedication and hard work, and because of all the people you related to who helped keep you going: your families, your friends, your colleagues, our faculty, and our staff. Let's take a moment to thank them, and OIST Graduate School in particular, for standing by you during the ups and downs along the way. Big hand. I also like to thank you for being engaged members of our OIST community. You belong to this family, and I hope we will stay in touch. You will always be welcome. Success of OIST comes from the success of our students. Since 2018, the first batch of graduates left OIST to make their mark in the world. Many of them have stayed in touch with one another and with OIST and formed an alumni network. I'm pleased to see all the achievements that they have already made and continue to make in society. And I'm sure you will be as successful in establishing your careers. As OIST celebrates its 10-year anniversary, I wonder how you might look back at your formative years at OIST, let's say in 20 years from now. Look back at your experience, friends you've made, mentors you met. You might think of this beautiful island, snorkeling in the ocean, coffee breaks in the cafeteria, and your hard work. I hope you will always remember OIST with fondness. When you visit OIST in 20 years from now, I'm convinced that it will be a beacon for science and technology we all wish to see. Imagine the beacon that OIST will be on the international scientific map, contributing to solutions for our planet's most challenging problems, fostering the next generation of science and technology talents, creating Japanese and international entrepreneurs through incubator and accelerator programs, and attracting venture capital, innovators, and entrepreneurs to Okinawa. Imagine parts of an innovation park established where people will live, work, and play. Imagine this village and this campus with sustainability features and a vibrant mix of local and diverse cultures, offering jobs, housing, education, and well-being for a community. I hope, as we are proud of you, graduates, OIST will give you every reason in the future to be proud of your alma mater. Maybe we will even see some of you engaged as scientists, as entrepreneurs, or as investors here on this campus or in the Innovation Park. Today, we welcome James Higa as our commencement speaker. James certainly can give insights into future career paths. Anton Seilinger, joining us per video, will receive the Honorary Doctor of Science degree for his visionary and groundbreaking contributions to the understanding of quantum mechanics and development of quantum technologies. Both of these leaders will be introduced in more detail momentarily. In our future image of a world-renowned Okinawan Institute of Science and Technology as an innovation hub, if that should become reality, we need continued support from all those who made OIST's vision a reality thus far. My gratitude goes to all those who have made critical contributions along the way. Our community at OIST and across the globe, our past and current members of the Board of Governors and Councillors, and our partners in Japan and worldwide. In particular, I would like to express my appreciation to the Japanese government for investing in OIST so that we can nurture fundamental research and work to uplift society. And I want to thank the Okinawa prefectural government for the support they have provided to help start the Science and Technology Hub and co-create the innovation ecosystem step by step. Onason allowed us to convert that jungle here into a thriving science and technology university. All the members of the OIST family whose daily hard work and devotion is leading OIST to a promising future. And to all others whose contribution were critical in leading us to this day today. Thank you. We should all honor the trust that these young graduates put in OIST's vision for their future. Honor it by showing the same courage, strength, and persistence by creating a future for this university. If we all work together, in 20 years, OIST is a world-leading university, fueling innovation in Okinawa and belonging to one of the most innovative regions worldwide. You, my dear graduates, will always belong to the distinguished group of individuals who were part of this journey early on. On behalf of the entire OIST community, our faculty, administrators, trustees, and alumni, I offer you the best wishes as you go forth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter Gruss. And now, in recognition of their continued support and the importance that the Okinawa Prefectural Government has in OIST, I would like to call for a message from the Vice Governor, Mr. Yoshimi Teruya-san. お願いします。
ただいまご紹介いただきました沖縄県副知事の照屋芳美でございます。本来ならば玉城デニー知事がこちらに参りまして親しくご挨拶を申し上げるべきところでございますが、所要が重なりまして叶いませんでした。代わりまして知事のメッセージを預かってきておりますので代読をさせていただきます。愛妻数用中華なびら
Hello everyone, how are you? Today, I'd like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to all of you at the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology Graduate University's fourth graduation ceremony. Congratulations to all the graduating students who will receive the PhD degrees. Also, congratulations to the families of the graduates and everyone else at OIST. Most of your time at OIST must have been spent under the influence of the new coronavirus pandemic, and your daily lifestyle must have been changed dramatically. My deep respect for the fact that even under such difficult situations, you have continued to work hard on your research, and you are here today for the graduation ceremony. You must have chosen to attend OIST from a number of options. How was your life here in Okinawa? While immersing yourself in your studies in a fulfilled research environment, I am sure you've had many opportunities to experience the rich nature and culture of Okinawa. We hope that your experience in Okinawa will, not only on campus but also in your interactions with a wide range of people, remain as a key experience of your future life. I believe that science and technology must contribute to the well-being of the humankind. As you graduate from OIST and go on your own ways, I hope that you will remember what you have gained from the encounters with your colleagues from all over the world, and hope that you will continue on your ways, contributing to the world peace and sustainable development. I am sure that you will all be active on your new stages of your careers, whether it be further study in your expertise or business challenges. I am confident that you will achieve brilliant success in your ways ahead and become valuable human resource. But when you face obstacles, please do remember the days you spent at OIST and in Okinawa, your start point, to overcome such obstacles. And please come back to Okinawa again someday. We Okinawans will be watching your success and we always welcome you warmly. Finally, again, I would like to congratulate all of the graduates on your successful start of your careers and wish you all the best in your future endeavors. May 20th, 2022, Deni Tamaki, the Governor of Okinawa. Congratulations.
Thank you very much for those kind words and for your continued support. Also, we acknowledge and appreciate the continued support of the Cabinet Affairs Office. Today, we are pleased to present a recorded message from their representative, Mr. Kosaburo Nishime, the Minister of State for Okinawan Affairs.
皆さんこんにちは。 卒業生の皆様、ご家族の皆様、ご卒業誠におめでとうございます。そしてグルース学長、マレー議長をはじめとする理事会、評議委員会、教職員、沖縄県、恩納村、関係者の皆様、心からお喜びを申し上げます。OIST はベストインザワールドをここ沖縄にとの考えのもと、尾身浩二元沖縄担当大臣や有馬明人元東京大学総長らが中心となって設立が実現した大学です。改めてお二人の先生の生前のご尽力に敬意を表するとともにご冥福を心からお祈り申し上げます。OIST は世界最高水準の教育研究を行うことにより、沖縄の振興や自律的発展、また世界の科学技術の発展に寄与することが期待されています。政府としても財政面を含め積極的な支援を行ってまいりました。今年創立10周年を迎えた若い大学ながら、日本そして世界のアカデミア界を牽引するような存在に成長し、また研究成果を生かしたスタートアップの創出、企業との共同研究なども進みつつあることに、設立の時から知る沖縄選出国会議員としても大変喜ばしく思います。創立10周年の記念すべき年に晴れてOISTから飛び立つ卒業生の皆様、恵まれた環境で学び経験したことを生かし、それぞれの道をさらに極め、あるいは蓄えた力を経済社会のさまざまな分野で遺憾なく発揮されていくことを大いに期待しています。皆様には引き続き何らかの形で我が国や沖縄とも関わっていただけますようお願いするとともに、今後も周囲の方々にぜひ沖縄の魅力などをお伝えいただければ大変嬉しく思います。本日は誠におめでとうございます。
And again, thank you for your message and your continued support. So now it's my pleasure to turn to the commencement address. This is always an important part of any graduation ceremony. It's a message of recognition, of encouragement, and of welcome to our new graduates. Today's honoured speaker will be introduced by the President, Peter Gruss.
It gives me tremendous pleasure to introduce James Higa this afternoon. I first met our commencement speaker when both of us were members of the Siemens Technology and Innovation Council. Working together, I came to admire his clear thinking, his wide scope of vision, and his ability to connect the dots and find the big picture. Starting as colleagues, as it sometimes happens, we ended up becoming friends, and I was extremely happy when he then accepted the invitation to become a member of OIST's Board of Governors, where he now assumes the role of vice chair. James was born in Indiana, grew up in Okinawa, and moved several times between the US and here prior to completing his undergraduate degree in political science at Stanford University. He then worked for several years as a freelance photographer before joining Apple and becoming embedded in the fabric of Silicon Valley. At Apple, he reported directly to Steve Jobs to transform the face of technology and consumer industries. He was a member of the original Macintosh team, and his role negotiating and launching iTunes changed music forever. He also worked with numerous Silicon Valley venture funds as a mentor, advisor, coach, and board member to startups. Recently, he became the founder and managing partner of Offline Ventures, a VC company that emphasizes how technological breakthroughs that most benefit humanity are forged at the intersection of science, engineering, design, and art. James tells me that there is no way he could have planned his passion-fueled and fascinating career. He has seen firsthand how knowledge can fire imagination in the hearts and minds of people with talent and passion. That, he believes, is the engine of innovation and change. James, please come to the stage and ignite our imaginations. Give him a big hand.
Enough. Thank you, President Gruss, for that very kind introduction. I want to thank the faculty at OIST, the administration, staff, the honored guests, distinguished guests that we have today, friends from Okinawa, parents who are watching and here, and my fellow BOG and BOC, Board of Governor and Councilor members. I would like to thank my wife who is here with me. She has been my constant companion and support for nearly 30 years. And most of all, I would like to offer a congratulations to the class of 2022, those of you here and for those watching over the live stream online. I am delighted to be here today. Thank you for having me, mostly because this spot where we stand has so many connections for me and such deep memories. I can recall many a weekend where I was snorkeling and swimming very close to here, mostly around the beaches of Manza. And so this place is very, very dear to me. And what I wanted to do today was to spend a little bit of time telling you about this journey from here to Silicon Valley and back again, and some of the lessons I learned along the way. My life can be described as one of a global citizen. It was crisscrossing the Pacific Ocean any number of times. My parents were studying in the United States, and there they decided, and it was their desire, that their children would one day be offered the same opportunity and go to the United States and study there. That's why I was born in the United States, so that 18 years hence, when it came time to apply for college, I would have the benefit of being a US citizen. Eventually, when I was 2 or 3, we made our way back to Okinawa. This is a picture of me at Miyazato Elementary School, actually very close to here, right over the hill in Nago. And it was a regular Japanese elementary school. But my parents started to realize that English was not taking root. And so they sold off everything, and we went back to the United States, to Indiana and to Oregon. Eventually, we made our way back here to Okinawa, and this is where I finished out my high school career at Okinawa Christian School and Kubasaki High School on the military base. And yes, when it did come time to apply for universities, I applied to schools in the US and was accepted by Stanford University. And that's how I ended up finding myself, after graduating, at a company with a funny rainbow logo called Apple Computer. And now I found myself right in the middle of Silicon Valley, where the personal computer revolution was taking place in Palo Alto. All that going back and forth certainly was not easy. It is not easy to find yourself when you're 8 years old and in 3rd grade, but sitting in a kindergarten class because you cannot speak the language. But I learned a very, very important lesson early on in life, which is irreplaceable, that the world is a very, very large place, bigger than I could have imagined, and that the stage is large and I have a place upon it. I cannot hold a candle to my parents and their long-term thinking, and I'm grateful to them. My father was going to be here today, actually, and unfortunately could not make it. But I did want to take a little bit of time to do something that one often doesn't get to do in public, which is to thank him for raising me the way that he did. And whenever you watch this stream, I hope you realize that you have given me a very precious gift of being a global citizen, and I thank you. Speaking of my father, his great joy in life right now is to look forward to watching Shohei Ohtani compete in the major leagues. The first lesson I learned is you have to play in the major leagues. I was a major leaguer. Silicon Valley is the major leagues of technology. And Silicon Valley is the Angel Stadium of tech. It was where I met my longtime colleague and my friend, Steve Jobs, who hired me into Apple Computer. It was a long and incredible journey of almost 30 years. What a privilege and what an honor it was to be able to work alongside him, to work with him, to work with my colleagues on the products that are iconic in our generation. The Macintosh computer, the iPod, iTunes, an iPhone. All those products with an I in it have a little bit of me in it. And together, it has fundamentally changed the way we play, the way we are educated, the way we are informed, the way we work. It has had a huge impact on our lives. And little did I imagine at the start of this journey that one day we will be in the business of music with iPod and iTunes and change the music industry forever. And I could not have imagined at the start of that journey that one day we will be in the mobile phone business and transform an entire category of consumer products. And yet, Silicon Valley is not a place. It is not a geography. It is not a location per se. It is about the people. It is about your team. It is about how you compete. Silicon Valley had the best talent from around the world, and we were competing against the best that there was. Steve and my colleagues made me a better player, and I made them better. So whatever it is that you do, seek out your major league. The major leagues of science, the major league of research, the major league of business, the Major League of Performing Arts, and welcome the challenge to play upon that bigger stage rather than the local leagues, even if it makes you feel like you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, or you feel like you have imposter syndrome. Because you will never know how good you are till you test yourself against the best that there is. So believe that you have it in you. Go further than you think possible. And when you do get to the major leagues, what will you need to succeed? What you will need is radical collaboration. I learned this lesson because every single creative, successful fun, impactful project that I have been a part of has been a product of radical collaboration. What you see behind me is the user interface of Mac Paint. It was an application that was bundled with every single Macintosh that we shipped. The tools, the interface, the icons that you see here were created by an immensely talented designer named Susan Kerr. She also did the Macintosh desktop. But one must remember at the time that it was unheard of to have a graphic designer on your development team. It made no sense. Why would you want an artist, not an engineer, not a programmer, not somebody who codes on the development team? But one must also remember what was trying to be created, and that was a breakthrough in human-computer interface design, away from what was predominantly at the time the green blinking cursor of a CRT screen to the graphical user interface that you see here. All the icons and tools, the interface that you see, were hand-drawn by Susan Kerr. And the engineers had to go figure out how to make this happen. And vice versa, Susan had to grasp what was going on underneath the hood and understand what could be done in code and what could not be done in code, and translate that in a way that we, mere humans, can understand. And at OIST, you know this inherently. OIST is about creativeness through interdisciplinary research and science. But I urge and I challenge you to go beyond interdisciplinary into the land of radical collaboration. And when you do get to the land of radical collaboration, what will it take to innovate, to have the biggest impact that you can have? I have learned that innovation happens at the very edge of unreasonableness. You have to get way out there on the very edge where people start telling you, you know, that is unreasonable. That is just not possible. I don't believe this. You must climb and get to the very edge of a cliff so that you can see beyond the normal terrain that you see every day in life. You have to get to the edge of the cliff and look beyond it in order to see a new land to explore, the land of opportunity and the land of innovation. You know, when people tell me yes, that is when I get really, really nervous. Yes, James, that's a great idea. Yes, you should do that product. Yes, yes, yes. That is when I start losing sleep and I start asking myself, what is it that I'm missing? It cannot be that easy. When I hear a chorus of no's, no, the music labels will never agree to ever have music downloaded off the internet. No, there will never be a time when we can buy one song and not the entire album at the same time. No, there will never be a time when we can stream any song on demand, live in the world. No, 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 no. That is when I get really, really excited. I cannot wait to get up in the morning and tackle this challenge, the opportunity that is in the no. And there will be many times in your life when you hear a chorus of no's. No, your research is not going to go anywhere. No, you are headed down the wrong path. And that is a time to be unreasonable. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your inner voice. Listen to your heart and follow that voice to the edge of unreasonableness, and look beyond it and climb down into the land that is innovation. So these are some of the lessons that I learned on my journey from here to Silicon Valley and back again. One must play in the major leagues. Find your team there. One must strive for radical collaboration in how you work. And you must push yourself and drive yourself to the very edge of unreasonableness to have the biggest impact that you can have. But today, I wanted to also leave you with one lesson, one message, in addition to all the lessons. And for that, we need to go back to the beginning of the story, and let's think about what my parents did. My mother, who sadly has passed away during COVID, she survived the Battle of Okinawa. She survived the Battle of Okinawa by hiding in the mountains and in the caves, right where we are today. She survived the Battle of Okinawa by surrendering and turning herself over to the US Marines and into a POW camp. My father survived because his family had fled to Taiwan during the war. But what did my parents decide to do after the Battle of Okinawa, after World War II had concluded? They decided that they would go abroad and study, like many of you have done, to jump into the heart of the enemy who had just killed everybody that they cared and loved. Their heart should have been full of rage and hate, and yet they decided to take the conscious step to create a life that is new, rather than dwell on the destruction of the old life. They decided that it is better to create than to destroy. It is better to love than to hate. And it may be something very trite for me to tell you that my message is to choose to create and not destroy. Choose love rather than hate. But consider where we are today and think about this. How many lives were lost during the Battle of Okinawa where we stand today? How many lives are being lost? How many people are being killed in the constant conflicts that are raging across the world right now? And I would offer for consideration that perhaps it is the most profound and it is the most important thing to open your heart, to open your mind to new people, to new cultures, to new ideas. Without an open heart and without an open mind, the creation of new knowledge cannot occur. And the creation of new knowledge is the most important investment that you can make in yourselves, that Okinawa can make for its people, that Japan can make for humankind. This is the OIST way. You have lived and experienced this. And I hope that you will always remember that you and OIST were here, and that OIST is part of you. And that as you go forward, you will one day connect the dots back to Okinawa and to OIST. So remember, always create, never destroy. And in closing, I want to leave you with the words that Steve Jobs often said to us, that we talked about a lot at Apple. It was attributed to Alan Kay, the scientist and technologist. And that is, the best way to predict the future is to invent it. So let us go forth from here today. Go out into the world. Think different. Be the square peg in the round hole that changes the world. Imagine the future you want to see and go invent it. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations.
So thank you very much, James Higger, for those very inspirational words. I'm sure it's resonating strongly with our graduates as much as it is with the rest of us. At this point, I would once again like to thank the Vice Governor of Okinawa for his kind words earlier, and to acknowledge the government's continued and generous support of the OIST mission. それ様ありがとうございます。Well, from time to time, OIST makes a special acknowledgement of a particular contribution to knowledge and culture. And this year, I am glad to say that we will be continuing that tradition. To introduce the awardee this year, I would like to call Professor Sheila McCormack to the stage.
I am very honoured to introduce Professor Anton Zeilinger today for the conferment of an honorary degree for his visionary and groundbreaking contributions to the understanding of quantum mechanics and development of quantum technologies. For me as a physicist in atomic and quantum physics, Professor Zeilinger's name has always been known to me from my earliest days as a student. I had the privilege to meet him several times during my studies, and he was one of my own PhD examiners many years ago. Right after the exam, he invited me to work in his laboratory at the University of Innsbruck in Austria. But there were two questions I had to answer. The first, did I feel okay getting dirty doing experimental work? And the second, if I dropped something on the floor and it fell under the optical table, would I climb under the optical table happily? In my youthful enthusiasm, I said yes to both questions, and I got the job. This was a wonderful time for me, as I was exposed to Professor Zeilinger's visionary viewpoints of quantum mechanics, and it instilled in me a deep respect for an epistemological approach to scientific research. Born in Austria, Professor Zeilinger studied physics and mathematics in the University of Vienna, and he completed his PhD in the area of neutron physics under the supervision of Professor Helmut Rauch. He has held many academic posts since completing his PhD, including in the Atom Institute in Vienna, MIT, Vienna University of Technology, the Technical University of Munich in Germany, and the University of Innsbruck. He has been director of the Institute for Quantum Optics and Quantum Information of the Austrian Academy of Sciences in Vienna, and is currently a senior scientist there, where he continues his research. He is also president of the Austrian Academy of Sciences and professor emeritus at the University of Vienna. Professor Zeilinger's major research achievements are in the areas of matter-wave interferometry, using neutrons, atoms, and larger particles, such as buckyballs, three-particle entanglement, or the so-called GHZ states, quantum teleportation, long-distance quantum communication, and entanglement-based quantum cryptography. All of these have been pivotal in our understanding of quantum mechanics and quantum systems, and have laid the foundation stones for recent developments in quantum science and quantum computation. During his professional career, he has been awarded many prizes, and they are far too numerous to mention here. However, I'll mention a few. They include the King Faisal Prize, the Quantum Electronics Prize from the European Physical Society, the inaugural Isaac Newton Award by the Institute of Physics of Ireland and the UK, the Great Cross of Merit with Star from the Federal Republic of Germany, the Willis E. Lamb Award for Laser Science and Quantum Optics, the John Stuart Bell Prize for Research on Fundamental Issues in Quantum Mechanics and Their Applications, and quite recently, the Vernadsky Gold Medal by the National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine. Without further ado, I will hand over to Professor Zeilinger to say a few words, but first I want to wish him a very happy birthday today from all of us here at OIST. and thank him, of course, for all he has done for the worldwide physics and quantum communities.
Okay, I would like to give many thanks. The first thanks is to you, Professor Sheila Nick Cormack. It is really nice to see you again, albeit only on the internet after so many years. And I thank you for your two kind words, but it's always a pleasure. Thank you. I would like to thank the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology, OIST, for bestowing on me this deep honor. OIST is certainly one of the leading graduate institutions in the world. I was there a couple of years ago, and there was only an impressive construction site. There were only very few traces of very few buildings to come up. I saw now that this has really grown, and I look forward to come someday to OIST again. This time I was not able to do it because I had some COVID-related challenges. It's not really problems, which made it advisable not to take a long trip right now. I am really grateful and humbled to be the honorary doctor this year. Let me just also connect to Professor Hicks, James Hicks' talk. My impression of life was just the same. The advice I would like to give young people, looking back at my own career, is follow your nose. Do what you are interested in. Don't ignore when others tell you, do ignore when others tell you, oh, we understand all that. This happened to me in quantum mechanics. I learned quantum mechanics when I was a student. I was immediately fascinated by its immense mathematical beauty. And I was also fascinated by the precision to which the theory is confirmed in experiments, to something like 10 digits or more. This is probably the best, mathematically best confirmed theory humanity ever developed. But I also realized very early that there is some uneasiness about what it means. How can we understand it? Why is it that way? What is the deep connection to our place in the world, to our worldview, and so on and so on. So I decided to do experiments with individual particles. I was very lucky in Vienna to have a teacher, Professor Rauch. Professor Nick Cormack mentioned him in Vienna, who was interested in this. He was only 6 years older than me. And this was a unique place, I realized later. It was one of the very few places where working on very foundations of quantum physics was not considered unimportant, and the comment was, we know it all, and what do we want to waste your time with here, and so on. But where the interest was. And later on, I had the same luck at MIT. My supervisor, when I was a postdoc, Professor Schall, was also a unique person, just interested in foundations like me. And this was extremely important to encourage me. When you follow your nose, you do something for the rest of your life which is interesting, which you like. And it means if you like it, if you love to do it, you're always better than your competitors. Okay? And it is not so relevant whether this leads to a great career or not. You will make your contribution, and you will be satisfied with this, with what you did there. And I should also mention that I'm very grateful having the joy of so many students and postdocs who worked with me. One of them is Professor Sheila Nikormak, and they are now spread all over the world. This is also, when you look at the globe, there's no way to look at the globe that you don't see a flag where someone who came out of my lab is working, and that is also very, very rewarding. It's really something which I can only be grateful for. I just briefly want to mention my family, because without the support of my family, all this would not have been possible. As it was mentioned by Professor Nick Cormack, my work is said to have been laying the foundations of quantum mechanics, like certainly others at the time too. But there were only a handful of groups at that time only a handful of groups at that time who were doing this. Nobody had the idea that this will lead to a technology. And now you have quantum computation technology coming up, quantum communication, etc. This is a worldwide enterprise, and I had no idea that this will come up. It's one of the interesting things in life, that such unpredicted and unpredictable things happen, and just be open for it. So again, I am very grateful for everyone, and I do hope to have the chance to visit OIST in the near future. Thank you very much.
Well, I would now like to call on the President to make the award of the Honorary Doctorate of Science to Dr. Anton Zeilinger in recognition of his work in quantum mechanics, quantum entanglement, and quantum technology. The hood, with its unique black trim representing our Honorary Doctorate Awards, will be accepted on Dr. Zeilinger's behalf by Professor Sheila Nikormak. Congratulations, Dr. Zeilinger.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this big distinction. I look forward to wearing the hood when I visit OIST.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to turn to our recent graduates. Please join with me as they receive their PhD diploma and hood in acknowledgement of their tremendous achievements, in congratulating them all. Of course, the last few years have been particularly difficult for all of us, and for these students no less. So, good job everybody, well done. From here, I'm going to call on each student supervisor to give a brief message about their students and their work, and then the student will come to centre stage and the degree will be awarded by the President. The hood, with its red border, will be placed by the Dean. But just to set the stage, I now call on the Dean, Professor Ulf Skoglund, to preside over the awards and to give us some context to their achievements. Thank you, Ulf.
Hello everybody, and I hope all of our distinguished students here all feel excellent today. Actually, Peter has already given a very nice exposé of the role of being a PhD student and what you have gone through. So I'm going to make a very short talk to just you guys, all right? So you have to excuse me, but this is kind of private between me and the students. All right, so dear OIST PhD graduates, congratulations to your achievements that have awarded you with a PhD exam. You have finally reached your goal to become a trained scientist in your field. And we also recognize that you have proved your endurance during the pandemic that has hit us all. And this long journey has transformed and defined you as persons, and you have learned about exciting science and made your own scientific discoveries and learned how to do and present research. So we at the OIST Graduate School in beautiful Okinawa are very proud to have had you as our students. And we hope that you will have a very interesting and fulfilling future career. Please make fruitful use of your network of personal and professional contacts and expand it. So we also hope that being an OIST alumni now in the future will be a welcome distinction for you, and that we will be in contact with each other also in the future. So this very short message, I think, however, encompasses what we feel like in the graduate school. So congratulations to all your achievements.
All right, thank you very much for those kind words. And now we are going to be able to call on our first supervisor and our first students. So the first two students come from the Evolutionary Genomics Unit, and their supervisor was Professor Tom Bourguignon. Tom, if you'd like to come to the stand. And the first student of mention is Jigasa Aurora.
So I'm very happy today to be here for the graduation of Jigasa. Jigasa joined my lab soon after I joined OIST. She therefore took a risk. It's not an easy decision, but she's participating today in the graduation ceremony, therefore the risk was worth it. Perhaps it's not necessary to talk too much about the scientific excellence of Jigasa. After all, she received a DC2 grant from the GSPS for her PhD, and some additional awards are to come soon, which together show the excellence of her PhD thesis. Jigasa worked on an ambitious project. I think it's a project that is not that easy, or that wasn't that easy to handle by a PhD student. And I have to admit that I myself did not really know what will be the outcome, actually, of that project. I discovered it on the way. But Jigasa handled it very well. Not did only she handle it very well, but while at OIST, she also remained very active, participating in the organization of various courses and seminars. It has been a pleasure to have Jigasa in my lab during the last 5 years, and I really want to congratulate you for your great achievement.
And if I could call on the President to present the degree. Correct, on the student, not the professor. Thank you, Jigasa. The next of Professor Bourguignon's students to graduate is Menglin Wang.
So the graduation of Mengling is of special significance for me because she is my first graduate PhD student. She beat Jigasa by just a few months. So she joined my lab soon after I arrived OIST, like Jigasa, without knowing much about the evolutionary genomics unit, and without knowing much also about this new PI. Taking this decision of joining a lab led by a new PI is difficult, but still, she is today here receiving a PhD degree. And she is receiving it in time, within 5 years. This is not a small thing, especially given the fact that during the middle of her PhD, she gave birth to her son, Zikun. Neither the COVID pandemics, nor the frequent closure of the CDC class Zikun attends, slowed her down. This is quite unique. But having had the opportunity to know Mengling over the last 5 years, I think this outcome was to be expected. Mengling has been devoted, working hard and efficiently during the last 5 years. I can say that she's now an accomplished young scientist with a promising future. Congratulations, Mengling.
Our next graduate is Joel Perez Urquizo. He's from the femtosecond spectroscopy unit, which is headed by Professor Keshav Dani. Unfortunately, Keshav can't be with us today, but he has sent a video message. So please center stage, Joel, and we'll roll with the message from Professor Dani.
Dear Joel, I should begin with an apology that I'm missing your visit by a few days. But I realize that if I'm going to deliver candid remarks about your PhD, I should do it from a safe distance. You see, Joel is a strong, strapping young man with a fondness for breaking bones. And that can be intimidating for a shy guy like me. Just during his PhD, Joel has broken at least 2 legs and 1 arm. And that's just the list on his own body. You should have seen his opponent. And I don't even know what game they were playing. Probably chess. So you can understand why I'm a bit intimidated. Joel's sportsmanship aside, at work, one of his defining features is actually his calmness. Nothing phases him. One of my fondest memories of Joel is his chalk talk for his qualifying exam. With his characteristic calmness, he delivered one of the coolest, most relaxed, and most confident chalk talks that I have ever seen. Joel was similarly unfazed when the sample that he had spent months preparing fell to the floor and shattered into 1,000,000 pieces. He simply restarted making the sample. He never appeared frustrated at work. I guess he was reserving his frustrations for his chess partner. Over the years, Joel has developed into a fantastic independent scientist. He made and characterized very sophisticated quantum cascade devices and published his main work in ACS photonics. Joel won the Best Poster Award for this work at one of the main terahertz conferences in the world. Not surprisingly, he had multiple postdoc offers prior to graduation, and currently he's working in Paris in one of the leading groups in the world in his field. Joel, we miss having you here at OIST. We miss having you on our team for the tug of wars at EA Island. We miss having you organize group parties and barbecues. We miss having to prepare a special budget just for the food you consumed at these barbecues. All in all, we miss having you in the unit, especially Julia. Nonetheless, we are very happy and proud of what you accomplished here with us. and we hope you will return to visit us, your OIST family, from time to time. Goodbye.
The next student is a student of Professor Kenji Doya from the Neural Computation Unit. Masakazu Taira. Professor Doya.
Yes. So it is my great pleasure to introduce Masakazu's achievement at this moment. So one of the major research topics in our lab is serotonin, which is a kind of a neurotransmitter that is released widely in your brain. So what serotonin does? So we have shown over the years that serotonin can control the balance between chasing the immediate pleasure or pursuing long-term goal, like go snorkeling in the beach or stay in the lab and do experiments for your PhD. Right? But Masakazu had another idea. Right? Rather than just the time frame, serotonin may affect the way you make a decision. So for example, if you go to a noodle shop and order Okinawa soba, but they gave you soki soba instead. They ran out of sanmainiku already. But anyway, you ate soki soba, and it was really good. Right? Oh, I like soki soba better than Okinawa soba. Right? And the next time you go to noodle shop, what would you order? You ordered Okinawa soba and they enjoyed it. So you repeat it, or you really like a soki soba, so then I order soki soba. Right? The former one is called habitual decision making or model-free decision. The second one, aim for a certain goal and then select the right choice. That's called model-based decision or goal-directed decision. Right? And Masakazu hypothesized that maybe serotonin may have a control over such mechanisms. And then he went on to build a vending machine for a mouse, not for a noodle, but full pellets with different probabilities, and did the experiments. And then showed by suppressing the activity of the serotonin neurons, the mice become more habitual. So his result showed the new dimension of the serotonin function. It's regulating the selection between model-free decision or model-based decision, or like just a habitual way of a behavior or more deliberate thinking. So I'm very much proud of his Nobel discovery, and then congratulate his PhD. Yeah. And I hope you enjoy your postdoc life in UCLA and benefit much from that. Congratulations, Masakazu. Yeah.
Next, we have two students from the Biodiversity and Biocomplexity Unit, both students of Professor Evan Economo. And the first student is with us on the screen, Evropi Tolkeredu. And Evan will accept the certificate and hood on her behalf. Evan?
Okay, thank you very much. It's my great pleasure to talk about a little bit about Evropi today. So Evropi came to us at OIST from a mathematics background and really joined the OIST spirit by doing a PhD that combines two labs and two fields. So on one side, she worked with the lab of Kenji Doya, Professor Kenji Doya, His lab is a world-renowned center for neuroscience and artificial intelligence research. And on the other side, she worked with our lab, where we like to play with bugs. And for her project, she integrated these two perspectives and developed machine learning algorithms to automatically recognize anatomical parts in 3D X-ray scans of small insects. And she particularly focused on the insect brain. The automated segmentation of these parts has great potential to accelerate research on comparative anatomy, allowing us to analyze hundreds and thousands of species across the tree of life quickly. Evropi has been a great lab member and a very independent researcher, even though her background is in mathematics and she had, in some aspects of her thesis, she had very little prior experience. I've been very impressed at how fast she has learned a diverse range of skills and interacted with a wide range of people both inside and outside of OIST to put together what she needed for her project. She's presented her work at major machine learning conferences, and her first paper from her thesis is in revision at a very top computational biology journal. And there are several other exciting papers to follow. She's now starting a postdoc at the University of Cyprus, where she will apply similar kinds of methods that she was working on to biomedical topics. So, congratulations.
Evan, please. And the second student from Evan Economos Lab is Yuka Suzuki.
When I think about Yuka's journey, this is another student who really embodies the OIST spirit. She came to us from Okinawa University, and she conducted undergraduate work in biophysics and worked also at a particle accelerator for a while. But at OIST, she really took the spirit to explore different fields, and she did rotations in a number of different units, and ultimately decided to join our unit to work on theoretical ecology. And even though she came relatively late to this topic, her thesis has been highly original, and she's published some very nice papers on core topics in theoretical ecology, with more on the way. During this time, she also had a number of achievements that were unusual for someone at her stage. Notably, she organized the International Symposium at the Ecological Society of Japan annual meeting, which is not something graduate students normally do. And the great thing about Yuka is she has a very good mix of independence and collegiality. Even though her thesis topic was quite different from many of the other members of the lab, she still was always a central hub of interacting with people, helping and exchanging ideas. Outside the lab, she has been a leader in the student community, serving on many different student organizations. She offers her measured voice to comment on different issues, and she's taught several programming courses for her peers. During all this, she's been a pleasure to interact and work with and have in the lab, and we'll miss her very much as she has already taken her talents to the Institut Pasteur in Paris, and we wish her very well. Congratulations.
Our next recipient, Tsung-Han Xie from the Immune Signal Unit, headed by Professor Ishikawa.
Congratulations, Tsun-han. I am honored to celebrate your PhD achievements. You are one of my first PhD students and a role model for other students in the lab. In the PhD project, you successfully revealed a new gene expression regulatory mechanism that is essential for T-cell differentiation during immune responses. Using cutting-edge molecular biology techniques and bioinformatics, you clearly showed the phenotype of the gene knockout mice and the molecular mechanism of action of that molecule. I am proud that your data will be published in a well-known immunology journal soon. You did a great job. Thank you, Tsun-han, for your contribution to the lab. I am happy to hear that you have been doing well in RIKEN as a postdoc researcher. Please continue to enjoy your science. Good luck with your future endeavors. Congratulations.
Our next degree recipient, Jason Ball, is joining us center screen on the Zoom connection. Hello, Jason. Jason did his PhD work in the quantum dynamics unit headed by Professor Konstantinov, and Denis Konstantinov will accept the degree and the hood on behalf of Jason Ball. Thank you.
Jason joined OIST PhD student with a strong desire to do research in quantum physics, and he was very well prepared for this. His research background was excellent. I could learn about this during the first year when he took my quantum mechanics class. And I'm trying to make this class very tough for all students, but it seemed to be what's very easy for Jason. And so when Jason asked me if he could join our unit to do his PhD, I was very happy. I could not think of a better student. And so Jason decided to work on a topic of spins in diamond, in particular the application for quantum technology. So he started working under direct supervision of Dr. Yuimaru Kuba, who was leading this project in my unit at that time. And as expected, Jason showed excellence in all aspects of research in physics, starting from designing and building experimental apparatus, and then taking extensive measurements at low temperatures, and then later developing theoretical models and doing numerical calculations. And I believe when Jason graduated, when he left OIST, he left as a complete and independent researcher, capable of doing research on any topics in quantum physics. But I also learned from the very beginning that Jason had a very big passion for teaching. He developed this passion even before he joined OIST. So I think Jason had a very hard time to choose which career path to take, whether to do career in education or do career in research and development in quantum technologies. And I'm very happy to know that he had chosen second. So now he's working as a scientist in Black Sea Corporation. It's an American company, R&D company that develops and builds quantum computers. And so I hope all these long hours of very hard work and all the research experience he had here in OIST helped him to make this decision. And I hope he will never regret taking this decision. And so I just want to heartily wish him all the best in his research career.
Receive the diploma. Thank you. The next student, who is also unfortunately not with us, is Dong Cao from the Information Processing Biology Unit, a student of Professor Ichiro Maruyama. And Professor Maruyama will accept the degree on Dong's behalf.
Well, Don received his BS degree in material chemistry and MS degree in chemical biology. So he has a chemistry background. And he joined OIST graduate program in 2016. And during his first rotation time in my laboratory, he proposed to study circular RNA in the nematode C. elegans. Then I accepted him as a graduate student because C. elegans would be one of ideal organisms to study function of circular RNA. And as you may know, most of circular RNA produced in the brain of other organisms, such as Drosophila and mice. So he focused on C. elegans nervous system and discovered about 1,500 different circular RNAs in neurons, isolated from first level stage animals. And among them, he focused on 6 circular RNAs that is abundantly produced in neurons. So because of those predictive functions, so he tried to isolate a mutant which cannot express those 6 circular RNA. And this is the happiest time in his PhD study. Unfortunately, however, he failed to find any defective phenotype of those mutants. The results indicate that the circular RNA he analyzed have no obvious detectable function. So that forced him to switch his thesis project from functional analysis of circular RNA and mechanisms underlying production of circular RNA. And then he, based on his site-directed mutagenesis of precursor messenger RNA splice sites using CRISPR-Cas9. And he discovered, fortunately, that so-called reverse complementary matches, or RCM in short, play a vital role to produce circular RNAs. Because of this, he got PhD. And this is the happiest end, in fact, to me as well. So he was, in fact, a very talented student and extremely independent scientist now. And he successfully managed to publish his own work on his own. And now he is continue to work on C. elegans genomics or proteomics or transcriptomics as a postdoc at Harvard University right now. And congratulations, Don.
Now we have 2 students from the Developmental Neurobiology Unit, headed by Professor Ichiro Masai. Mai Ahmed is the first.
It's my pleasure to introduce Mai. And actually, she's a very, very excellent student. And she is interested in the neuroscience, especially the biological aspect of the central nervous system. And in her PhD project, she found the new a protein called the SLIP1 as a key regulator to promote the neuronal survival and also the synapse formation. Actually, I think this study, these findings provide a very important insight on the mechanisms underlying the neural circuit formation and also the pathological process of the human retinal disease, glaucoma. Concerning her such a great contribution of the research achievement obtained in the OIST, I totally believe that she will develop her career in good shape to have the success in the future. And indeed, she will work as a professional scientist in Canada and continue to work on the neural development as well as human neural disease progress, and using the human brain organoid system. I'm very appreciated to hear such a new challenge, and which is a very important talent of the as a scientist. And also I and my unit member a bit sad that you leave OIST soon, but I think we should get in touch with in the future, and also do the science and engineering science together. And congratulations.
Thank you very much. The second student from Professor Masai's unit is Swati Babu.
I'm glad to introduce another excellent student, Swati Babu. And Swati is a very motivated student to study the cancer mechanisms. Indeed, she has a very profound knowledge about the cell cycle regulation, and also she is very familiar with new cell biology technique. And by using this very high skill, she focused upon one of the tumor suppressor protein called the BAMP. Actually, in her PhD thesis, she provides the in vivo evidence that the BAMP is a new transcription factor which regulates the repair of the DNA replication stress, and also independently regulates chromosome segregation during the mitosis. And in addition, I think this is a new transcription factor or function as a tumor suppression. And she also succeeded to identify to the more than 30 candidates of the BAMP direct targets. And this list is will be very useful for the future research for the cancer mechanisms, and also the development or establishment of the cancer therapy. And considering such a great contribution to the cancer community, I also quite very much looking forward to seeing her future progress. Indeed, she also will continue to the cancer mechanism in Boston, USA soon. So I think that she also continue to use the zebrafish. I belong to the zebrafish community, so and also my lab member excited to see maybe in the future zebrafish conference, probably every year. Yeah. So maybe we can talk at that time your progress. Congratulations.
Next, from the Marine Biophysics Unit under Professor Satoshi Mitarai is Boshun Chung, who we know better as Bob. So for his PhD study, Bob conducted experiments, lots of experiments, putting corals under extremely stressful environment to induce so-called coral polyp bailout phenomena. So coral consists of lots of small polyps. And these polyps can come out or bail out from their colony under stress. So meanwhile, I also conducted a small experiment by myself by placing Bob under extremely stressful academic environment, named the Marine Biophysics Unit of OIST.
and see what happens. And Bob didn't bail out from the OIST PhD program. So on the contrary, somehow he managed to have impressive 3 first author publications, all in an open access format, which actually cost me a lot of money, publication fees, from my, well, not small, research operation budget. So on top of that, he enjoyed playing basketball and also gave really wonderful public lectures to local school kids, sometimes even in Japanese, and also enjoyed 2 cans of beer every night. And also he even found a very beautiful wife, Mizuki, too. So my experiment failed, or maybe succeeded. In any case, it has been a real pleasure to work with you, Bob. So I'm really, really proud of you, and all of our research unit members, Suntory will miss you a lot. So congratulations.
The next student to be awarded is Afshan Jamshed. She can't be with us, but she is here, center screen on the Zoom connection in the corner there. And welcome back. Your PhD thesis work was done in the Energy Materials and Surface Sciences unit. Professor Yabing Chi can also not be with us, but he has sent a video message, and the degree will be accepted on your behalf by Professor Skoglund. So let's listen to Professor Chi.
It has been a great pleasure working together with Afshan as her PhD supervisor. Afshan's PhD study focused on the scanning panoramic microscopy STM studies of metal halide perovskite materials. STM research requires a wide range of knowledge, patience, and perseverance. With an innovative mindset and devotion for science, Afshan overcame many difficulties she encountered during her research and completed her PhD project with high success. Using STM, she was able to reveal the important role of chlorine on the surface stability of perovskite materials. Her research result was well received by the research community, and it was published in a top journal in our field. In her spare time, Afshan also contributed to the local community at OIST and in Okinawa. For example, she was a founder of the cooking club at OIST called Foodie Oysters, and organized many events, which were all well attended. Afshan also organized events to raise funds to help kids in Okinawa orphanage. Overall, Afshan is a talented researcher with a warm heart. I feel very proud of her and would like to give her my congratulations on her achievements.
Congratulations, Afshan. The next student was a student under Professor Nick Shannon in the Theory of Quantum Matter unit, Andreas Thomassen.
So Andreas arrived in our group in January of 2017 and made a very good first impression. Judith from Hanyi, at that time a postdoc in our unit, remembers it like this. We talked about physics with Andreas in the outside area of OIST's cafe, discussing symmetries and their importance in physics and enjoying Danish bread. I remember sitting there for some time. It is a fond memory of the quiet days in Okinawa. Andreas was very enthusiastic and keen to learn. 4 years later, Andreas defended a PhD thesis, Topology of band-like excitations in frustrated magnets and their experimental signatures, which was steeped in the mathematical theory of symmetry and co-supervised by Judith, by then an assistant professor at UC Irvine. Andreas' examiners described this thesis as being of very high value to the research community and containing many original contributions to a timely fundamental problem. To top this off, Andreas moved on to the job he had dreamed of, working remotely for a quantum computing startup from somewhere near a beach in Okinawa. But, like any good Danish fable, between the enchanting start and the happy ending, there were plenty of challenges to be overcome. For Andreas, these included being on an extended academic visit to California when COVID struck. I vividly remember the effort it cost us to bring Andreas back to Okinawa and our collective relief when he reached the safety of quarantine in Tokyo. In short, although he graduated in difficult times, Andreas lived life to the full at OIST, working hard, playing hard, contributing to the student council, and writing a thesis that he can be proud of. Andreas, I have no doubt you will go on to new adventures. Come back and tell us about them. But the last word, as always, belongs to Judith. This is what she says. I feel tremendous pride when I say Andreas Thomasson was half my student. Not too many could have walked in your shoes, Andreas. Today is your day, and we feel so happy and privileged to be part of your journey leading here. Thank you.
Well done, Andreas. This unit has the pleasure this year of graduating 3 students. The unit is the Evolutionary Neurobiology unit, headed by Professor Watanabe. And the first student today is Ivan Mbogo.
Okay. Good afternoon. So I'm really happy to see you all students today. And first of all, let me briefly mention about my unit name, Evolutionary Neurobiology Unit. I realized that the norm 3, all you students worked on neurons. But instead, all of you tried to have unique project and achieved the great results. I'm really happy with that. So first, Ivan. Ivan addressed the long-standing biological question of when and how the beta-glucan pathway and animal body axis have established in the very early phase of animal evolution. And to tackle this issue, he took very unique interdisciplinary approach, combining the protein 3D modeling and protein mix analysis, and also the experimental validation using frog egg. And he focused on beta-glucan pathway because it's important for axel patterning. And although this was very, very challenging project, but Ivan succeeded finally in identifying the number of evolutionary conserved proteins that are assumed to bind beta-glucan pathway protein in basal animals, such as sponge and comb jelly. And this provides new insight into the understanding of axel patterning that has already been established in the ancestral animals, probably more than 600 million years ago. Ivan's wide range of interest in basic biology and new technologies and the contributions to society are now being demonstrated at the medical company at Kobe in Japan. Congratulations and best wishes for your future.
The second student to graduate today from the same unit is Kunlung Lee, and he is with us on the screen. The award will be received on your behalf by Professor Watanabe.
Okay, the Kunlun Lee, prior to coming OIST, he's already had background in the lancelet, the basal chordate. And at OIST, he chose another basal chordate, tunicate. And these two animal taxa are the key to understanding the basic, the genetic, physiological, and even morphological susceptibility and flexibility of chordate and ancestors and their evolutionary process. Kunlun has done very well work and showed that one gene encoded by tunicate genome is derived from bacteria by horizontal gene transfer. And this gene produces cellulose in this animal that is involved in metamorphosis of this enigmatic animal. And this is amazing. I'd like to thank Professor Norisato, the co-supervisor, who helped him a lot in many aspects. Kunlun Lee is now postdoc at Academia Sinica, and we wish you the best all your next endeavor at the top research institute in Taiwan. Congratulations.
Thank you, Kunlun. Well done. The third student from Professor Watanabe's unit is Larissa Shelukova.
Okay. The last but not least, I am pleased to congratulate Larissa Shelukova. Larissa's project was to understand the evolutionary origins of glial cells, a non-neural cell type that plays multiple roles in neural function. It was a very tough project, I know, and she patiently analyzed large amount of information and performed very painstaking experiment to solve this challenging problem. And she finally found a key molecule which was already functional at the very beginning of evolution. And this actually opened the door to understand the nature of the ancestral state of this still enigmatic cells. And we still need further analysis to fully understand this novel enigmatic cell type you found in this study. But I think this would be this would contribute to understand how and why so many central nervous systems have always needed this non-neural cell type for their neural function. And Larissa has a wide range of interest and wealth of knowledge, and she's still working at OIST, but we will really look forward to her new adventures. Congratulations.
In the cell signal unit, headed by Professor Yamamoto, we'd like to award to Mohi Youssef.
Congratulations, Mohi. Muhyiddin Magdi Mahmoud Youssef. And Mohi challenged to a very unique protein, which we call top protein. he joined my class after he joining the OIST. And my class was molecular oncology class. And I talked about protein related to cancer, genes related to cancer. And one of the protein I mentioned was TOB. That is my favorite protein because almost 20 years ago, when I was in Tokyo, I identified that protein. And, but it was in the beginning very easy to analyze, maybe a couple of years. But afterward, very difficult to analyze real function of the top protein. So I was very happy to hear that he wanted to work on that protein. But on the other hand, I was a little bit uneasy because he may not graduate. And, but I trusted his ability because before he joining my lab, he had already a very nice paper published in the very international high-profile journal. So I trusted his skill, knowledge, and indeed he did very well. Almost everything he has done by himself, and ranging from the functional MRI, animal behavior, molecular biology, and RNA expression, many works he designed and conducted and analyzed. And of course, he needs some collaborators, but he was very gentle, very nice person, and easy to talk to everybody. So many people whom he talked to might felt easy to collaborate with him, and every collaboration worked very well. And eventually he found that top protein is functioning in the stress responding machinery in the brain. So that is a very good achievement, I think. And so I like that his idea and to can overcome many difficulties and seeking for many technologies and finding collaborators within OIST and also outside OIST, sometimes internationally. So he wanted to go always to the meeting and to find people, and even domestic meeting, neurobiology meeting in Japan. Many people are talking in Japanese, but still he jumped into there and find collaborators. And so very nice achievement. I'm very happy to find that top protein. That's something very important in the brain. And so really congratulations. And then I have one more story. Is that I think it is not secret, but anyway, he joined OIST together with his wife. And he is the father of 2 kids. And what I want to emphasize is that his wife and the mother of the 2 kids, they are yeah. So both of you, congratulations, got PhD, congratulations. And moreover, they go together to Toronto, sometime soon, got job there, and I look forward to hear another success from Toronto. Congratulations.
Good job, Mohi. And Mai, of course, bringing up 2 kids now during both of your PhDs. Well done. The last degree that will be awarded today is to Shunu Hu from the Bio-Inspired Soft Matter Unit. Unfortunately, in the absence of both the student and the professor, we will just ask the president to award the degree to Ulf Skoglund on his behalf. So that concludes the award of degrees at the moment. President, you may take your seat in the audience again, but stay here for a minute, Ulf. We need you again in a minute. So, everybody, please join me once again in applauding all of these students' great achievement. It's been a really hard year for everybody. All right, thank you both, President and Dean, for making those awards. So, while all of these achievements are special, each year we are happy to recognise that at least some of these are more special than others. The Peter Groos Doctoral Dissertation Award is recognising these outstanding theses, and I would like to call again on the Dean of the Graduate School to announce the award winners and to present award certificates to the students. Thank you.
Thank you again. This special award, I'm very happy to outline what's happened. I just want to start by saying that we have very good candidates. So it has not been simple at all for the committee to decide what to do. So what we finally ended up doing is the following, and I will read from the committee decision, the following. So the Peter Groos Doctoral Dissertation Excellence Award recognizes and rewards outstanding PhD thesis research by OIST graduate students. And for the second year, the award selection committee received highly competitive nominations. We like to give special mention to 2 students for their excellent contribution to the high quality of OIST dissertations. So the first special mention goes to Dr. Pu Chun Chuang. For his excellent thesis titled From Polyps to Colonies, Applying Polyp Bailout to Study Coral Coloniality. The supervisor, as you heard earlier, is Professor Satoshi Mitarai. Congratulations. The second very special mentioning goes to Dr. Sayedeh Sahar Sayed Heyasi. Sorry about my pronunciation. For her thesis entitled Atom-Light Interactions via Evanescent Fields, supervisor, Professor Thomas Busch. So, because you're only one, I present this one to you. Thank you very much.
So Sahar actually graduated in the previous academic year. She has already been awarded her degree certificate and hood in a previous ceremony, but the timing of her thesis made her eligible for the award this year for the best thesis. So.
All right, tension rises. So finally, we have the winner. And the winner of this year's award is Dr. Jigyasa Arora. Her excellent thesis title is Functional Metagenomics and Evolution of Termite Gut Microbiome. Supervisor was Professor Thomas Bourguignon. So congratulations. I would like to tell a little bit about our reasons, but your recent work stood out as having achieved, among other things, the following: excellent scholarship in your research field, which led to a high-impact article in press, recognition through fellowship and prizes for young scientists, contributions to our community by designing and teaching a short course at OIST. So the committee commended your significant achievements, and which culminating in the awarded thesis. So finally, really, our congratulations. This is a good thing.
Thank you. So, congratulations to our excellent dissertation award winners and merit awards. Very well deserved. I must confess that whilst I can understand Jigyasa's and Borchun's theses, I have absolutely no idea what's going on in Sahar's. So at this point, it is appropriate for the graduating students to reply. I would like to invite Dr. Yuka Suzuki to answer on their behalf. I first met Yuka-san many years ago at a recruiting event in Tokyo, where we were able to convince her to come to OIST. She was shy and quiet at first, but over the years has developed and grown into a wonderful scientist and teacher and a confident speaker. She researches complex biological systems, and now she's studying the genetic basis of human behavior at l'Institut Pasteur in Paris. So I'm sure that she has a keen eye for observing the tides of life as a grad student. So it gives me great pleasure to invite her to the stand to reply.
Hello, everyone. As introduced, my name is Yuka Suzuki. I did my PhD in biodiversity and biocomplexity unit and studied theoretical ecology. So it is my great pleasure to give a speech here for this special moment. So I'm going to talk about my brief background before coming to OIST, life at OIST, and things that brought me to my current life. So I'm originally from Tokyo, and I grew up in a rather typical family in which no one knew about what academia is like. And so the first time I thought about sort of doing research was like in my high school, when my high school biology teacher was very enthusiastic about what he taught, and also he often talked about what he did in his master's research. And I did my undergraduate program at a university located in Tokyo. And around that time, I was looking for something exciting, new, and also a little bit challenging. I took courses from other departments in the university, and also I traveled abroad for the first time. And then I decided to do my PhD at OIST here because OIST looked very different and inspiring. And in particular, I liked the idea of lab rotations for the first years, as I hadn't decided what to study in details. And I only knew that I was very into the combination of biology and computation at that moment. And then my life at OIST. So I engaged in several community activities, which is apparently one of the reasons why I'm giving a speech here today. However, I wasn't so much of a community person before coming to OIST. I find myself an introvert and often not very much interested in others. Nevertheless, I joined activities such as OIST Student Council, Student Peer Supporter, and internal seminar series organization, and also some other club activities, and also casual parties and gatherings as well. I don't remember how they started, but I think there are many opportunities to get involved in something at OIST. Then I took some of the opportunities, thinking that they may be interesting and helpful for me. as well as for others. As a result, I was able to get to know some people quite closely and also was able to experience different aspects of life at OIST. And knowing many people, or some people at OIST better, made me feel further comfortable with getting involved in the community. Moreover, some of those activities gave me confidence about myself and made my daily life very lively, which definitely became a part of the driving force for going through my PhD. And it may sound like these have little to do with my research activities, but I think feeling comfortable about interacting with people was quite important to push my research forward. Initially, I naively thought that having a research project that interests me would be the most important factor to complete that PhD. However, the reality was that there were ups and downs, and occasionally I could not tell what was missing in my research, no matter how interested I was. And on those occasions, getting feedback through good, honest communications with my supervisor and senior researchers helped me understand what would be missing and also ask for necessary help and resources from them. Additionally, sharing activities with others can lead to sharing not only good time, but also bad times. I think I became much better at being vulnerable in front of close friends, which turned out to be very important in surviving through challenges during my PhD. And I am very thankful to have such friends who allow me to share good and bad moments. So many things that I learned through my life at OIST were only the start of learning, and I keep finding something new to add to the list of wisdom. And now I am working as a postdoc at Institut Pasteur in France. I changed my field of study, so there are a lot of new things to learn. And also I started to live in a new environment outside of Japan, which brought me some changes and challenges. And the new life and work environment confuse and frustrate me sometimes. However, the experience of managing the challenging time of my PhD makes me believe that I can somehow handle future challenges. But this does not mean that I know how to be successful in academia. What I mean is instead is that even if some struggles happen, I know I can make myself more or less happy, although it may take some time and effort. It could be something as small as eating things I like, exercising, or hanging out with friends and going for karaoke, something like sometimes going to quiet or loud places, or maybe getting a different point of view by searching information or talking with friends. Having said that, it feels like things are quite uncertain these days due to some unfortunate situations like pandemic, international conflicts, in addition to uncertainty in my own career path. And I find myself often prone to stress by uncertain situations. Some experience in the past may help us cope with them, but some events could have a greater impact than we could be prepared for. And I don't think I've got the best way to deal with such stress, but I think general sense of well-being is a great help. And I guess it's also okay to be occasionally stressed and being messy. And finally, using this opportunity to speak, I would like to thank my friends, lab members, supervisor, family, and OIST staff for all the support. Specifically, I appreciate all the freedom with some guidance given by the OIST PhD program, my supervisor, and by my parents to follow my interest and instinct. And I appreciate the freedom to share positive and negative sides of life with friends. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Suzuki. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the ceremony today. I'm sure we can all be very proud of these graduates, and we wish them the best as they venture into the wide world beyond OIST. But I urge all of you to stay with us, stay part of the extended OIST family, and share your journey and experience with us as a welcome part of the OIST alumni. Congratulations again. And now, these newly graduated students are admitted to the main academic body of the university. And this is symbolized by the red bordered hood. You've now been awarded your doctorates. So please, at this point, follow the president and the dean as the academic procession makes its way out and to recess. I think your destination right now will be the tunnel area, as it's probably still pouring cats and dogs outside. So apologies to the cats and dogs. So after the dean and the president, please all rise for the academic procession. Go. Thank you everybody for joining with us today. I'd like to make a special thank you to our musicians today. The fabulous string quartet all come from Okinawa. I would like to recognize Yuka Shimada, first violin, Seimi Oshiro, second violin, Asawi Awakuni on viola, and Shu Ewuchi was our cellist. Thank you all. And also further thank you to our OIST Sanshin Ensemble and the dancers for their earlier piece. And of course, many thanks to you all of our supporters and staff and students for making everything possible today. The ceremony has now concluded. Thank you very much.